We are live. There. And then I got a couple of different things to do. If you're done, computer. There we go. And that puts me there. That. Go here. And how many times do I have to tell you, Houdini, you're not allowed to be in here? Go on. You do was talking. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Freedom Forum. Sit back, crack a beer, chill right here. There are only two rules in the Freedom Forum. No bullies, which you are doing right now. And no porn. Everything else, you're golden. Have fun. I'm going to set up the old computerizer so it doesn't die on me before folks finally filter in, because it's early in the morning tide here on the West Coast. I don't know about the East Coast. I think there's a lot of folks at work right now. That better. That better. Flying Ryan. Good to see you. Good to see you, brother. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe you come from Mad Shads and happen to be in Ireland? I could be wrong, and I expect. Let me see here real quick. I'm going to fix a little issuance, as I'm sure is there. Let's see here. Where is it? There it is. Enjoy. Don't let the power go to your head. You know how it works. Have fun. Like I said, this is the Freedom Forum. You know, folks folks that go over to Mad Shads, he gives them all a wrench because he wants everyone to speak their mind. I give everybody a wrench because it's a sign that I can trust you enough to actually, you know, follow the only two fucking rules that there are for this Freedom Forum, or for any channel on YouTube for that matter. But I even restricted even more, to the point where the only two rules that YouTube puts down in their community guidelines that I still adhere to on this particular is no bullies and no porn. Everything else may go. You could cuss all the hell you want. You can says whatever you want to. I don't give a shit. And if somebody got a problem with it, well, too bad. Freedom of speech is protected here. If you cannot read, I will read it for you. Freedom Forum. Freedom of assembly and freedom of speech protected. Welcome to America. Damn good breakfast beer. Any time of the day beer, really. It's that Total Domination IPA. It's actually a pretty good beer. You know, I hear people talk a lot of mess about IPAs are like one step off a wine cooler. I'm like, no, they're not. I'm sorry, but it might be one step off a Boone's Farm, but that's different. That ain't your average wine cooler. That's an old school wine cooler. Like, you know, it's not. You know, that's a alcoholic drink. Whereas some of them other wine coolers, you'd be sitting there like, I'm drinking Kool-Aid. So no, I'm pretty adamant on if it's a beer, it's a beer. If it's not a beer, no. See, that's why I think it's funny when people they look at America and they says, "Why are American beers watery?" I'm like, y'all motherfuckers don't even know, do you? It's pretty impressive because wine coolers now. Hot. All right, all right, all right. Thank you, Bug Out. Thanks for coming by. Not to be confused with my other acquaintance. Bug Out Adventures, ladies and gentlemen. Not Bug Out Bushido. That was a whole saga in itself. And I will not even go into it. I just, if you want to know about that, look back. It's all there. Well, 99.99% of it is there. I removed one live stream in the effect of being contrite. Something I didn't do in that particular video because I was drunk. Now, most of the other ones where I get drunk, I just, yeah, whatever, I'll own it. It's some shit. But that one was like, I got walked into some shit, walked into talking some shit that I wouldn't normally do, especially not sober or even half decent sober. So that one had to come down. That was a situation of I got walked into saying some things that I wouldn't normally say, claiming things I wouldn't normally claim, just simply because I did not remember what a specific thing was. And so I asked a general question. And I guess the way that I framed it, somebody took it as I was trying to says I was doing something I wasn't. But whatever the case may be, I don't give a fuck. You know, I wasn't trying to say nothing that weren't true. It's just a matter of I was drunk and I said some things, and I do not generally accept them as that was me as a sober man and in my right mind. I can have one beer and be sober mentally. Hell, I could have two beers and be sober mentally. Physically, maybe not, but mentally, I could be sober. Now, half a fifth of whiskey? Fuck mental sobriety. That shit ain't happening. I'll say whatever you want me to say, however you want me to say it. That's why I don't drink whiskey. Joe Morgan, good to see you, brother. Welcome to the Freedom Forum. Have yourself a good old time. Kick back, roll a fatty, or have yourself one of your generic Camels. And if the chance goes arise, grab yourself a beer. See right here. It's Friday. TGIF, motherfuckers. Damn. Yeah, so you definitely need a beer. uh, yeah, I've been on a couple of those. All right, Joe. Things I did not need to know. But hey, like I said, whatever you says, that's freedom of speech. Something that I believe in so wholeheartedly, I'm willing to fucking stand to with a man toe to toe on a line. Don't give a fuck whether it's a boxing match or a fucking full on duel. I don't give a shit. Man has a right to speak what he says. Man has a right to speak his mind. Yeah, see, I don't drink like I used to neither. Right, I'll right on that. I am all right on that. I know, and I understand, Joe. Shit, what was it? 3 years ago, y'all saw me on a real bender. 3, 4 years ago, I don't know. Yeah, that was a shit show. If y'all don't know, we lost a really, really good friend, a tight friend in the community, one who actually was like the glue that held us all together. So if you don't know about him, go back and check him out. His videos are still up there to be seen and whatnot. Just look up Dangerous Freedom After Dark, and you can see us all hanging out there and having a good time. Uh, Sadly, he is no longer with us. And y'all saw me go into a real dark place back there. I walked out of it because y'all, I need you to understand and recollect something. This is a growing up thing. This is a being a man thing. All right, being a grown ass adult and actually figuring it out for yourself. And that is, it's okay to hurt. It's okay to mourn. It is not okay to let it take over your life. Dog out. Go on. Yeah, it is not okay to lose your mind over hurt. I know you know that word. You do best all thing. Let's see it. Anyways, my point remains, you got every right to have those points in your life. My point is don't let it hold you down. Don't let it hold you back. Yes, mourn, feel it, because feeling it is a good thing. It means you still got a fucking soul, god damn it. Even if it is a dirty motherfucker, it's still a soul. And that's why I says. It's all right to lose your mind for just a little while. But you got to get back on it. You got to pull yourself up out of bootstraps and get things done. Hell, I went through it for my dad. I went through it for Ron. I went through it for another friend of mine. I used to drink a lot more whiskey than I do now. This is my relax my muscles beer of choice.
Like I said, Joe, even if it is a dirty motherfucker, you still got one. Because you can feel it. And I know you feel it because otherwise you wouldn't be drinking so goddamn hard. You'd be sitting there like, oh, fuck it. Don't hurt. Bullshit, it fucking hurts. Difference is, we got ways of dealing with that and being adults about it. So I wouldn't say that's so much of having a tainted soul as having a mature mind. There we go. Yeah. Home, dear Lord. Look, I'm going to says it. And for those of you who know what it is, please keep it to yourselves. For those of you who don't know what it is, do not look it up. It can kill you. Disclaimer out of the way. I made Pruno before. Yeah, I understand that. Life sucks. Life is complicated. Life is a shitstorm. It just so happens that every now and then you get to wipe your face off just for long enough to be able to see more shit coming at you. Hell of an analogy, but it's true. Metaphorically and, heaven forbid, physically. But anyways, yeah, that's a different kind of hooch right there. I've had that before myself, and it's I actually I think I still have the whatchamacallit sitting up there on the top of the shelf. My old my little wine court, my wine casket for was Abel Port Alabaster Brut, an extremely gaudy white wine. You have to filter it. It has to be filtered. That's just how it is. It has so much sediment that it has to be filtered. But once it's filtered and you get it through the filtered point, it's so strong that it will literally fuck you up after a cup this tall. And I'm talking not a regular cup. I'm talking just like, a shot glass, maybe a little bit bigger. Like the little party shot glasses. About a double shot of that, and you are fucking done. I didn't even test. You know that? I didn't do a proof test because, one, I didn't have a hygrometer. But two, I know something about hygrometers. They don't start measuring accurately until you are at a certain alcohol content, and that is well above most wines. Even though I poured some New York Diesel, I had the friend who was doing this because I couldn't have it at the time because of the shit that I was going through. I had a friend do the steps for me, and basically I told him what to do, and it was pour the New York Diesel at this specific time so that you end up having the good, brew behind it, and it shuts down the brewing process so that it can then turn around and start to age. And we let it age for 3 years, man. Man, that stuff was just so. Hey, Ricky, how you doing? So yeah, for those of you who don't know, New York Diesel is 99 proof ethanol alcohol. Yeah, ethanol alcohol, not ethyl alcohol. Ethanol. There are differences. Ethyl alcohol is also known as ether. You don't want to get the two mixed up. Okay, so I need to get you some olive oil, huh? All right. I swear that bird is either my rooster, which I doubt, or she's egg bound. She ain't happy one way or another. And I said she because I was given a guarantee, all right, that they were all females. But I already come out with some fertilized eggs, so that tells me that there's at least one male in the coop. I don't know which where, and I'm kind of having to wait until I see which one is like the absolute most aggressive. But they're all the same age. They're not, a day apart or anything like that, which is a good thing. These are all the same size bird, and they're all the same, physical age bird. So I get something out of it rather than the other one, whereas the male was the oldest, and then I think I got like 4 or 5 females, 6 females, and that bird killed all of them. So yeah, no, I think that it might be that he's grown up with them and it's fighting chance, and one that looks the same as him, and that's most likely what it is. One that's a female, same as him, you know, because I either have 1 or 2 roosters in there. I'm not sure yet. I do know that I have at least one. Because I have gotten some eggs that were fertilized. So there were some eggs that just weren't. And it was kind of strange. I got a bunch of eggs that weren't fertilized, and then I got one that I looked at, and on the inside of the shell had this little black dot on the inside of the shell. Now this is, of course, after I cracked it open. I didn't know at the time. You're not gonna know. By the way, that's just how that works. You're not gonna know. You can shine a light through it all you want, and most of the time you can kind of tell, but not really. You have to let them sit out in the open for a week before you can really tell. Because one of them, the fertilized egg, when you shine the light through it, is basic old flashlight, like, basic old LED flashlight. You shine this up through the egg in a dark room, and you can see whether the egg is yellow, yellow to orange, or reddish. And the reddish denotes that it is a fertilized egg. And normally you can start to, after a couple of weeks, you'll start to see a couple of little dots in there. One of them's real big and one of them's a little small, tiny dot. And that small tiny dot is the other end of the yolk. The big dot is the little chick growing inside. Hey Eric, how you doing? Now, if y'all don't know, I learned that trick from Mr. Eva or AVE or however he wants to put it. I mean, I'm not sure how to says that. He calls himself either Bumblefork or Uncle Bumblefuck. He's here on the interwebs. I'll try and find him and like do like a specific post as a shout out, like y'all sub this fella or AVE, if you're not already. I mean, he's probably been recommended to you as in your YouTube platform or whatever at least once, but he is a funny son of a bitch. He lives up in Canada, up there in Kanukistan, and he's a machinist and a homesteader and whatnot. Does a whole bunch of stuff. And he is just one of, I swear he comes up with some of the best stuff I've ever heard. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna give a fella a shout out, and later I am going to do a special post to link him. Because yeah, y'all need to sub that man. That dude is cool. I mean, don't let it be said that a price was ever backwards and coming forwards. Leastway is not about my side. All right. Yeah, she's missing something in her diet. Give her all the different vitamins, nutrients, shit I might freaking even think of. All of that's at the store to give her. She's sitting there just cranking up the storm. I was recommended to give her some olive oil on the feed. Mix the feed with some olive oil. Now, I wanted to show y'all something. I don't know if you can even see it, but here on my hand, there's these little lumps, like little tiny dots right there. That's actually beautiful. You can see it there. That runs all the way up my arm. Now, this is what I mean by I have certain skin allergies to the chicken feed that I feed these animals. I have a skin allergy, to a couple of things here. Now, one of them is in this. All right, and this is the protein supplement that the major protein supplement I give them. Dog Out. Now, this is the major protein supplement I give them. And then this is the other side of it. This is the calcium supplement I give them. I give them oyster shells, and I give them surf and turf, which is actually dried mealworms and dried river shrimp. Now, y'all might notice that this is an allergic reaction. This is hives. If you didn't know, this is what hives looks like. Okay, when it breaks out on your skin, that's hives. And it comes, dog, fuck out right now. You're not supposed to be in here. It comes from being specifically sensitive to certain compounds, certain chemical compounds. Most people don't know this, but almost all human beings are chemically sensitive skin-wise to the chitin in shellfish and in shellfish, mushrooms, and insects. But yes, I am actually sensitive, skin sensitivity to shellfish of a serious level. My grandmama, she was deathly allergic to shellfish. She couldn't be in the general vicinity of somebody handling it just because of the fumes that it gives off. All right, the fumes themselves would cause her to have an anaphylactic reaction because she spent years on a packing ship up in Alaska canning shellfish, canning salmon, canning all sorts of stuff. She was on a canning ship for years, and it messed with her immune response. And she said, "Don't let yourself get overexposed because this will happen to you." And lo and behold, I used to live down there on the in Los Angeles, and that was one of my jobs at the time. Was I was a baitman. If anybody knows what a baitman is, it is not a masturbator, even though that's the running joke amongst people who are baitmen. I used to work at a bait shop. I was working on getting my master's degree. But anyways, a baitman is the feller that goes out and specifically harvests the bait for the bait shop, goes and sells it to the bait shop. So I'd go and I'd catch mackerel and I'd catch shrimp and I'd catch I'd go down and I'd go limpet picking and, just all sorts of stuff. And I'd go and I'd take it into the bait shop, sell it to the bait shop and be able to, make a little bit of cash together so that I could then turn around and buy fishing equipment to go out and do halibut fishing, which is what I like to do, So, of course, I got my fair share of exposure. Then, one day I was sitting there on with my dad on my uncle's boat, and we were sitting there eating shrimp cocktail. I was like, I don't understand. I fucking itch like crazy. He's like, wait a minute. Maybe you shouldn't be eating shellfish. That's how grandma started. I was like, what? It's like, yeah, that's how she started to have reactions. She would eat some and she'd feel itchy and scratchy, and then it would go away. And then she'd, a couple of years later, she'd end up doing it again. And then she'd get really violently sick and couldn't understand why. And then said, oh, well, whatever. And then she'd go back, a few years later and she'd have, little bit of shrimp or, just some crawdad gumbo or something. And she had an anaphylactic reaction. And so after that, she could never eat shellfish again. It was like one of those things. So, yeah, it's a cumulative allergy, basically. And I don't have a choice. I have to do this for my chickens. They need to have this extra in order to eat and grow. So, that's the thing about certain allergies. They are cumulative. My grandma was deathly allergic to strawberries. Couldn't eat them. They'd kill her. And also allergic to bee stings. She wasn't deathly allergic, but she was allergic enough it would cause a severe reaction. You know, it would swell up big. It wasn't no small swelling. It swelled up big. So she didn't deal with getting stung very much. But I'm the kind where I'll have an anaphylactic reaction to the bee sting. I don't have an anaphylactic reaction to the mealworms and the whatchamacallit yet, but I know that can still happen. So I'm not playing around with that. First thing when I started noticing the reaction, I went over to the pond over yonder and I rinsed my arm off instantaneously. It was like I started feeling it. I was like, okay, this has got to get taken care of now. I ran over to the pond. I went over there, rinsed everything off. I washed and rinsed, and I did. I stood back and I thought, okay, no, it needs to get again. I hit it again, washed, rinsed, let it all go, dude. And then I started seeing the lumps raising. I was like, okay, so it's also just, you know, standard allergic reaction, but I've already got all of everything off. So now I walk back inside. I had me a beer, having me a beer, and I had me a couple of tokes off my bowl. So I feel like I'm gonna be all right. I'm not certain yet. Now, if it does tend to become any worse, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run inside. I'm gonna grab me some Sudafed because I've already taken something that is a depressant. I do not want to be taking more depressants, which is why I will not take Benadryl. I'd rather take Sudafed because it will even things out. I actually, that's why I carry Sudafed, because I have 15 minutes to get Sudafed in my system, or you know, Sudafed or Benadryl in my system, one of the two, or 45 minutes to get to a hospital if I get stung by a bee. So that's why I keep Sudafed. I've got, you know, I've got several uh, bubble packs of Sudafed that I keep, and I keep it on hand because I've been to the point where I actually had to go to the hospital before. And it was just because at one point in time I was out on my own, didn't have a fucking dollar to my name. I barely making ends meet by trying to, you know, by working as my literally my second security job ever. Okay. And also as a park hand at the time in order to just pay for my lot rent. You know, I didn't have tons of money at the time, so I'm sitting there. I didn't even have the kind of money I have now, which is saying something. All right, I had maybe like, you know, a dollar or two in my hand. Well, this one day I was working out on a jet ski, just doing my regular, you know, marine repair job, and I stepped on a bee, and I got stung, and that sucker stung me right in between my toes. I'm walking around in flip flops, you know. I'm just like, you know, I'm on the freaking Colorado River. I'm working on a jet ski, you know, or a Sea-Doo, really. And I'm getting in the water, you know, I'm getting in and out of the water. I'm not throwing on a pair of boots for this. Whoops. Anyways, so, you know, I walk over to the local convenience store at the park. I'm like, okay, well, hell with it. I'm going to grab me some Benadryl from the convenience store because I know that they have some. I get into the convenience store and they just sold the last of their Benadryl that morning. And this is when, like, you know, just like certain preps that I have to carry in my freaking stuff really kind of smacked me in the jaw. All right. Because I was shit out of luck. I literally sat down right there at the, you know, I told the front counter guy, I said, I'm gonna need you to call 911 because I just got stung by a bee and I'm allergic to bee stings, and I am going to go into anaphylactic shock come here about 45 minutes. So I need you to call the paramedics. And he said, well, don't you have like an EpiPen or something? I said, no, I literally go and I get Benadryl or I get Sudafed. I don't deal with the EpiPen because I also have a weak heart. So the EpiPen is actually something that could cause more complications than it's worth. And he goes, oh, okay. Like, okay, so we're sitting there, we're talking, and the store owner's sitting there like, dude, I fucking wish I could help you. I really could. I really do. Only thing I can do is call 911. He calls the paramedics. They show up, and I'm starting to already have my throat swell shut. All right, I'm at this point where I'm starting to wheeze. I can't breathe. I can't get enough oxygen to my brain, and I can't. My my arteries. You could see the sides of my neck because I didn't have the big old beard at the time. I just had a little tiny goatee, and the sides of my neck were sitting there just pulsating because the swelling was so bad in my neck that you could see the arteries pulsing in my neck. Freaking paramedics took one look at me and said, "Yeah, get him in the back of the fucking ambulance now." They stuck me on an albuterol sulfate nebulizer right away, and also gave me a standard saline IV and injection of the really expensive Benadryl shit, the shit that goes in your veins, not the shit that goes in your mouth or you take as an inhaler or something. No, this was IV in, drip, and to the saline drip, they also injected me with freaking Benadryl before I even get to the hospital. And they're like, all right, the nebulizer is going to open up your airway, and it's also going to dilate your blood vessels so you can flow more blood. The other side of this is that the Benadryl is going to come up in the background and stop the histamine reaction. You should be all right in a couple of hours, but we're taking you to the hospital anyways because they have to keep you under observation for the next 24 hours until you show that you're not going to have a rebound reaction. Great. So yeah, I learned my lesson. First things first, have Sudafed. I can run right inside the house right now. I got freaking the Sudafed little bubble packs. I get that within my system within 15 minutes of being stung. I am fine because it takes about a half hour to kick in. Now, it's not just your lungs, by the way. It's your entire airway. It opens up your nasal passages, your laryngosophageal, and your tracheotomy, as well as the bronchial and the pulmonary. So you get all of that opens up. It's not just just your lungs. And the reason why I know that I lived it. I mean, I don't mean to be an ass, but I lived it. And it kind of just sticks in your mind when you live through it. Huh. Child's dose EpiPen. Well, and see, that's the other thing. I don't want to be tied to I personally don't want to be tied to a doctor. I know how to make pseudoephedra or pseudoephedrine, which is what Sudafed is. And I also know how to make see, that's the thing. I used to also use, in place of the Sudafed, I would use Mormon tea. If you know what that is, that's a ephedra plant. It literally creates Sudafed in tincture. which is why I used to use that quite a bit. But I know, like I said, I know how to make Sudafed, so that's why I try to stick with that. One, it's over the counter, it's easy enough, and I can always have accessibility to it. uh, well, yeah, because you use a Fedra to turn around and whatever. I don't want to even get into that because I'm not trying to tell you how to make methamphetamines. That's not okay. Ephedra has its uses, and your body can actually break it down. It's the same thing as adrenaline to your body. Methamphetamine is not. It crystallizes in your bloodstream and ends up stuck in your brain. And it's only dissolvable by alcohol, which means that when you drink alcohol after having methamphetamines in your system, you get these little holes in your brain. Tiny little microscopic ones, but you get little tiny holes in the brain left behind by having those little crystals pushed together, and push your neurons apart. Now I know this, and that's why one of many reasons why I really refrain from methamphetamine. Other than that, you could say I probably have been in close enough proximity to methamphetamine users, or in that fact have been exposed to methamphetamines enough to have the same problems. So but yeah, alcohol turns methamphetamine, the crystalline form, into methylphenidate. If you know what that is, I feel really fucking sorry for you because you ended up getting forced into something that you didn't need to be taking. But anyways, it turns it into methylphenidate, which is the liquid form of methamphetamine, and your body can actually get rid of that. You pee it out, you sweat it out, and you breathe it out. Now, why would I know all this stuff about this crap? Well, one, I was in the DARE program, but two, my dad was a tweaker recreationally. He would do it recreationally. He never really got heavily addicted to it, but he did say he liked it a lot. No, his problem was alcohol. Probably looks like mine. Swiss cheese. I'm joking, of course. I've seen scans of my brain. Somehow, with all of the damage that I have taken on in my life, all the TBIs, all the freaking concussions, what have you, and for that matter, the drugs I was on, like that I was stuck on by freaking pseudo doctors, and that's what I call pseudo doctors, by the by. Is yeah. Yeah, that's the thing about tweak. It does some things for people that I can understand because of replacement therapy, but again, that's why, once I actually got clean of Vicodin, I went to smoking pot rather than messing around with methamphetamines or anything like that, because I still needed pain relief and I needed potent pain relief, but I needed something that wasn't physically addictive. I mean, it's one thing to, you get your, you start feeling the pain again. And the only way to fight the pain is through adrenaline boosts. And so your body starts throwing adrenaline at the problem. And in order to flush dopamine into your system. And so you end up, looking like a gigantic rage monster all the time, when reality is that you're just fucking hurting a lot. I mean, so yeah, weed is one of the only ones that worked for me. And booze did too, but I did not want to be drinking like that. And I thought to myself, dude, drinking like that was going to kill me. And I saw that coming. I mean, it killed my dad. But I already saw it coming. Like, drink, but not unto drunkenness. It does have its medicinal purpose. It relaxes muscles. It is one of the few naturally occurring, and therefore also naturally processed by your body, muscle relaxers known to mankind. And I mean muscle relaxer, not, like a Soma or a Flexerol, not like an opiate or something. It just makes it so you don't give a fuck about the pain. It actually helps you to treat the pain because it is a muscle relaxer. It's a depressant. So one of the byproducts of a depressant is also being a muscle relaxer. And those muscle relaxers can help you to get tension out, be able to align your spine, things like that, get pinched nerves gone. That's why I do it. Speaking of which, snap, crackle, pop. Yeah, better THC than taking Roxy, Tabs, Xannies, Vicos, Codes. Yeah, I'm with that, dude. Because of the fact that, I've been through all the gamut of the rest, and I says to myself, man, this stuff will kill you. It'll fucking kill you. What's the use of getting rid of the pain if it's going to kill you anyways? And well before your time. That's what I mean about that. It's one thing if it's natural, your body can handle it. It's a whole different story if it's, not naturally there, your body can't handle it, you end up with a serious problem. And even then, it takes a lot of mental focus to be able to say, all right, this is the one fucking beer I'm having today. I'll smoke weed all fucking day long, but this is the one beer I'm having today. Because this is physically addictive. That is not, this little thing is what I'm pointing to. Yeah, that's not. It's not physically addictive. You can become dependent on it. And yes, I am dependent on its pain relieving capabilities because it helps to stop the chronic nerve pain induced spasms in my abs. People wonder why I'm so skinny. It's because, a lot of the time I'm going without any kind of pain medication. And so my body, my ab muscles are constantly spasming. And doing that spasm, they are burning calories like you cannot believe. So it looks like I've got a nice cut figure, but not really. My ab wall's about as weak as a freaking piece of wet paper. But like I said, that's because I got stabbed. And in order to save my life, the doctor had to slice me open like a catfish. So, like I said, that's the only one I'll have today. But it helps to relieve the tension in my upper back and lower back from my abs sitting there going all day long. Yeah, I understand that. My dad used to do. Drink enough so that he could sleep because his back pain was so intense and his gut pain was so intense, and he had a hernia in his gut. He had a fused pair of vertebrae in his back because he had a ruptured disc when he was younger from trying to lift a piece of metal that was too heavy for him all by himself. And severe sciatica for the rest of his life because of all that. And so, yeah, I do understand that. He drank himself to death doing that, though. What is that now, Debs? Cerebral damage. Prayers to you, Debbie. Don't worry. You know, that stuff will take you down quick. Folks don't realize it. You know, if you don't stay on top of your health, it'll take you down quick. I mean, yeah, I drink beer. I smoke, weed and tobacco. I understand that. I am also actually very physically fit for the fit I'm in, you know? It's because I try to stay active. That's what actually keeps me going. Hey there, Seymour Cannabis. Good to see you. So yeah, and like I said, my dad had a fused vertebrae. I don't have any fused vertebrae. I have a steel rod that runs along my spine and sits inside of two stainless steel cups that are strapped to my spine. And then I have an abdominal trauma suture that runs to just from the apex of my chest to just below my belly button. That goes all the way through my ab wall and into my intestines. Because the doctor had to actually pull out my liver, intestines, stomach, kidneys, all that in order to suck the blood out from inside of my abdominal cavity in order to put it back into my veins. Because I had 5 liters of blood internally, internal hemorrhage of 5 liters of blood. My stomach was distended by the time I got to the hospital. And 1 liter externally before I even got my hand over the top of my, over the stab wound.
And then on top of that, I have 2 broken vertebrae in my neck. One of them severely so to where I don't think it'll ever heal. The other one it's pretty much healed. I have a complete fracture through this side of my jaw to the point where this is all just basically held together with, you know, a couple of plates. There's a plate here and a plate here and a plate here in my jaw that hold all the different pieces together. And then right here in front, I have a constant fracture right in the middle of my jaw on this side of my jaw. I also have a balloon inside of my sinus so that I can inflate my face. And I have this sinus is actually concreted in. So yeah, I've been through the ringer, and that's just from one situation. Mind you, I've been in so many different near-death situations that I'm surprised I only have the injuries I have. Ugh. That sucks. Even though, you know what, Mexico does have a pretty good medical care program. I will give them that. They've been doing pretty good on that. Because, one, they're willing to do cutting edge technologies. I was seriously thinking about taking my dad to Mexico to go and get him stem cell to get him on the stem cell research thing for his liver, because we knew things were going downhill, you know, before he ended up dying. And he told me no, he wasn't going to do it. But once we were in the hospital and he's sitting there literally looking at me from his deathbed, he decided, oh, wait, no, I actually might want to go to Mexico and take care of this and do this. And he ended up dying before I could actually help him. It happens, though. You know, that's the way life is. The cost of living's dying. You know, it can't be said more succinctly than that. Every man knows the cost of living's dying. So live and don't fear death. If the cost of living is so high, live life to its fullest. Every second of every day. It should be something to be enjoyed. Now, if y'all didn't notice this, it is pinned at the top of the comment section. I always do this. Panel is open. If you want to chat, if you want to talk at me and you're not feeling like sitting there thumb fucking your phone, I mean, it's up to you. But otherwise, like I said, it's freedom forum, it's open chat, it's open panel, it's open everything. So I like that. The dude coming in hot with it. Death is but a doorway we all have to walk through. I like I like that quote from what was it, King Arthur with Clive Owen and Ewan Griffith. Griffith. Yeah, I don't know which way you're supposed to say it, dude. It's kind of hard when it's spelled like that. But anyways, the way it goes is, we all have to die someday. If it's a death from a Saxon hand that scares you, stay home. That is for what did I do with that? Oh. I blame the yips.
Yeah, I understand it. I do, Debs. That's fine, honey. Don't feel obligated at all. I realize, hey, if you're in pain, you don't want to deal with people. You're not obligated to get up here. That's the way I'm pointing it out. You're not obligated to get on panel. You ain't got to jump in a box. That's the thing. You know, if you want to, you can. But you ain't got to. If you're feeling under the weather, and keep to yourself. Or have fun and chat. Have a good time. Me personally, I'm sitting here. I'm having me a toke and a joke and a smoke. Because hell, it's freedom forum. I'm gonna have some fun. Hey, Pete. What's the old infantryman saying? Here's to honor if you can't come in or come on. Oh Lord. Oh dear Lord. That's too funny. That is too damn funny. It's true too. This is a good joke. And I've heard it a couple of times. That's why I was able to recite it so well. Yes. To all who have served, a kindred spirit am I. Though I do not look it, though I do not seem it, a kindred spirit am I. Oh, that feels good. That feels fine. 4 hours. Alice, how you doing? Good to see you. We went 4 hours, Pete. Ain't that something? Oh no, you went 4 hours. I was sitting there for maybe like, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half, maybe two. I says to myself, I've allotted my time. I've got other people to get to, and then I've got my book to get to tonight, and then I've got tomorrow. I got to do the Freedom Forum, and then Saturday I wanted to go do some training, but it looks like I'm gonna be tied down here doing other things. So it is what it is. But we did get our first rainstorm. So on that note, if we get one more tonight, this is a big deal, mind you. If we get one more tonight, I'll be able to start the forge. And that's why it's a big deal, because I'll be able to start working on them axe heads and working on knives for folks. So, yeah. Well, I appreciate that, Pete. Yeah, hashtag free Trump. Well, I'm going to say it this way. Trump did not interfere with election. What he did do was voice truth. And in a day and age where lies are the currency, the action of truth is rebellion. Yeah, burn bans are horse shit, but I did have a couple of burns go up and around this area just a couple of weeks ago while there was still, the high fire danger notice in play. Where it's just like, look, you can burn, but you need to fucking be careful because even if a spark goes too high up in the atmosphere, you're not going to see where it lands, and that spark starts the fire, and that's how bad it is. Nein, du warst auf ein Hund. You're not supposed to be in here. I was talking to people on the YouTubers. Das du sehen? Aish, look. You, here. Never mind. He's a goofball.
Like, I don't want to be on camera. Okay. Neither do I, really. Difference is, without this, there would not be the Freedom Forum.
That's why I says to myself, this thing, I'm not much of a showman, but the show must go on. Hell, elsewise, why else are we doing this? Why else for is it? That's why I run the Freedom Forum. That's why I do all this stuff. That's why I try to prep and to grow a full size garden and have a mobile garden and be able to show people that, dude, you do not need to be held down by what you see as the constraints you have. You can lessen your constraints. Okay. That is a freaking mound of tobacco. Get a little bit of freedom from the world, from the shit. Just kick back, relax, sit in your rocking chair, smoke a doob, smoke a cigarette. Lay a shotgun across your lap and says, well, that's a good day right there. That's going to be fine. Well, now. Howdy, Joe. Come on up.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Right on. Sorry about that. Had to get Mama in the shower and get some stuff done. It's just been one of them damn days.
Yes, sir. That's how everything is, isn't it? We all got to get shit done. Shit, before I even got on here, I got chicken feed. I went to, store and got groceries. I went and I freaking saw to the chickens watered, to the pond filled with water, to, making sure that the roof wasn't collapsing, did a full walk around of the property. Yeah, I know it. Before I even had my cup of Joe. Onda, bästa avfäng, vet du. Nu är det stopp på avfäng. What are you gonna do?
Oh, forgot about the whole thing about closing out all your windows before you hop up. It's been a minute.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way. You cannot charge your phone if you do not close all the windows on that thing. You put it on the cable won't even hold the charge in it. It just where it is, it'll start to drain, even though you got it plugged in. I've seen that before.
Mm-hmm.
I had my phone plugged in. I think I was up on Dangerous Freedom, and had my phone plugged into my truck cable. I was sitting there on live, and I had like 5 or 6 windows open or something on my phone, and my battery just you could watch as the counter dropped.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing, man. That was some shit today to see that traffic accident. I was heading up to run my little errand, and I couldn't figure out why the fucking, the traffic was all stalled and stuff, because it's a normal busy day, for whatever day it is here. And I saw 3 cars T-boned from opposite directions. Dude was hanging out the windshield.
I have my own experience with car accident victims, and so you gotta understand. I've seen my fair share of. So I can imagine. Yeah, I can
I've seen
imagine.
enough of this crap in my life. I'm just numb to it anymore. It just doesn't really bug me.
It's one thing if I'm actually trying to visualize what somebody else says, but if I'm actually staring at it for some reason, I see my way all the way through to the other side like it's nothing. Like I go dead between the ears for a minute. It's like a switch shuts off, and I go from just I understand this perfectly, and I hurt for them too. I understand this perfectly, and I know how to deal with it, and I'm going to deal with it, and I'll hurt later. I don't know why it works for me. It just does. But yeah, don't get me wrong. I saw when I was a young man, I was about I think 16, 17. I saw somebody try to pull the Fast and the Furious move by going up underneath of a semi trailer with his convertible, and didn't realize that a Mustang does not have the same clearance as like a lowered Corvette has,
or one of those other cars that was lowered specifically to do this trick, and the fact that they had high-rise trailers. No, this guy tried to go under a standard size container trailer with his Mustang and went under the trailer, under the freaking tires. And there wasn't much left of it. My mom was a CERT team member at the time. I wasn't really part of the CERT team yet because I wasn't 18 at the time. But we got out and tried to help, and there was no helping him. He's dead. He was dead. I would say you would not see that kind of carnage outside of a car accident or the battlefield.
Sorry about the background noise. Damn dishwasher's fighting me. Little pig fucker got stuck. I had to give it some manners. Kick the shit out of it. Bastard. Every damn thing's fighting with me today, man. Inanimate objects, everything else. It's like, arr!
Trust me, I am not isolated where I am.
All says that much.
There's tons of background noise where I'm at. You hear lawnmowers all the time. You hear people driving past. You're like, it's just all sorts of noise. And it's not the kind of noise that you'd hear on the top of a mountaintop now, either. Or in a soundproof room. No, I ain't got none of that. I don't give a shit about it neither. It's one of them, you know what? I'm here for what you guys to says. I'm not here for what you guys to tell, what the background noise is. That don't bother me none. Damn, that tasted like paint.
Maybe a damn smoke break, man. I'll tell you what, that dishwasher got stuck. I was trying to pull it out, and there was a piece of silverware stuck in that little tray thingy. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Just wouldn't go. Wouldn't go forward, wouldn't go backwards, so I just kicked the shit out of it.
I wish I had one of them dishwashers you could see into. I gotta open up dishwashers to actually mess around with stuff in there. Of course, that's an expenditure I'm not.
I kind of got an apartment, you know, we pay like $1,300 a month to live here, and you know, the appliances all work. It's hot in the winter, cold in the summer, you know, but it's tell you what, it's everything's broken around here sometimes.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, we used to live downtown in a nice Victorian era house years and years ago. I'll tell you one thing, that was just miserable to heat in the winter, cool in the summer. Like, they didn't use insulation back then. They had old newspaper from the 1890s in it.
That reminds me when we did the refurb on my dad's. He had a 2-story himself. I was a little kid, mind you, when we started that restoration. Uh, that house had so much character, but it had all been covered up by somebody in the 70s, right? Hi, cuz. Um, anyways, on the front of the house, we uncovered this fleur de lis. It actually had this full inset carved. Uh, it was what they called a pride piece, and it's specifically just it's an ornament that sits on the front of your house that faces the main street. You know, that shows off. This is my house. This is my castle, sort of thing. We uncovered this thing. It had to have been at least 100 years old. It was all hand carved. It wasn't done by a router or nothing. It looked all hand carved and all that. Like somebody spent a lot of time and just sit there with, hammer and chisel to carve it out. And my dad took this thing down and we had it down and it literally came apart in pieces in our hands. I mean, we couldn't, we barely had enough to get the pattern off of it before it just crumbled. Now, he remade that thing, using modern power tools and whatnot, but he remade it exact to the way that it was, and he put that thing back up in the front of the house, and you can look at it to this day on the Google Earth. It's pretty freaking cool. He put a ton of freaking work into that house. Anyways, yeah, those old Victorian homes, man, they sucked for insulation. I'm just gonna say that, they suck for it. I mean, we were putting in insulation, pulling out the inside, the innards of the walls and whatnot between the brick and uh, the inside side of what they had used for insulation, like you says, is newspapers and goose down. There was like just old rotted feathers everywhere. A freaking biohazard just to work on a damn house.
Yeah, our place had asbestos around the pipes and stuff. It had lead plumbing, everything else.
Yep. We had the lead sewer pipe. Had to be removed and shit. So they had to trench that out. He had to bring the building up to code, but he also, at the same time as bringing it up to code, he had to keep it as historical as he possibly could because it was a historical, an Ogden historical site. So when we redid all the work on it, we worked on it. Oh my God, there was so much to do. We had to redo bricks. We had to redo. It was 2-story and it was built with a witch's stair, which was a fire hazard. So we had to take that out. And first time that my mom went up it, she almost killed herself. Yeah, You bet that thing came out. That was one of the first things to come out of the house was the freaking witch's stairs. My dad replaced it with brand new um, 2x6 on top of mitered 4x6 board in order to make a solid plank staircase going all the way up. And then that was braced with a double 2x4 with alternating on the sides of the staircase. So, you know, it was a solid staircase. You could literally, I think you could, I'd say you could probably, you know, even though they probably wouldn't fit down the hallway the staircase made, you could walk a 600-pound man up that staircase. And it would not break.
Yeah, for me, it was that damn lath and plaster. That stuff was just a nightmare. We'd had this big earthquake like in 1980 here, like in Paul, Idaho, right? And it just rattled the whole fucking area. It was like a 7.0. And it broke every clean line in that house.
Yeah, when we did the renovation, in order to hang sheetrock, my dad had to bring in 2x6s to do the insulation right, and then had to run bracers on the 2x6s in order to have it adhere to the brick, because we couldn't run a Hilti on the brick, because if you've ever run Hilti on brick, you know this, you could actually shoot a brick out the side of the wall. Trying to, you know, to staple a tie on the side of your frame to the brick wall. So you couldn't use a Hilti. You had to actually go and run bracers across between the two 2x4s that were your stud, and then you had to set that with I think it was like a masonry anchor. We had to set those with masonry anchors and reinforced L brackets on each one, just to get it up to code. Because what my dad had noticed about the building and about the history of the area is that it was very unstable ground. It's right on a fault line. On top of that, the property itself had the scars of going through at least 2 earthquakes. And then on top of that, we had the canyon winds. So, you know, the brick structure, the first story, was not a problem. You know, that would handle the canyon winds like you wouldn't believe. You know, but the second story was the issue with the canyon wind. And we had to go into the second story and rip out everything and rebuild everything. That was fun. Oh, but this thing had a full coal room, mud room, furnace, boiler, and chimney stack. Oh, and a tater cellar. It had a tater cellar too.
Yeah, I don't miss living in an old house very much. Truth be told, the heating bill is just, even 15 years ago, it was like $400 a month.
Yeah, that was always the issue with the heating bill. It was, you know, especially places like, you know, Ogden, where it's a modern-ish city. And I says that because, most Ogdenites want to keep it old school. They don't want this whole be like Portland or be like Los Angeles or any of that. No, not a big city. No, Salt Lake City's close enough, and that's a problem. But so up there, they wanted things to be modern, but they didn't want things to be stupid. If you get what I'm saying.
I've been through Salt Lake enough times as a kid. I don't ever care to go back amongst the Mormons.
Yeah, that's the other side of it. The Mormons, they turn a blind eye to the gang problem. And then what was the other side of that? Oh yeah. Fucking politics. Oh boy. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Billy. Salt Lake City is the armpit of the Rockies. You're right. Yeah, Pete, I don't want to even think about that because Viva la Resistance. That's my go-to at that. Viva la Resistance. If y'all don't know what that is, that's French. And it means Godspeed to the resistance. Yeah. I ain't wearing a freaking monkey muzzle that sits a freaking like it, no other fucking choice. And when I says no other fucking choice, I mean the only fucking store within 100 fucking miles. And if I don't wear this damn mask, I can't even get gas. That's what I'm talking. Yeah, the phone has a mind of its own. That's the way that all these phones are. They don't got their own mind. That's why, to me, my cell phone is disposable. My tech is disposable. My knife is indisposable. Pete, come on up, brother.
What's up, everybody? 300 in the house. How's everybody doing? Yeah, about that mask part. Yeah, this is coming back. There is no doubt about that. It's all over. It's all over the internet that they bringing it back and lockdowns coming back. They already closed down schools in Kansas and in Texas, and in colleges they already mandating that students supposed to put that face pampers in their back in their face again and all that bullshit, you know. Um, about this new, it had mutated itself to a bunch of different kind of variants and all that stuff, you know. But you can't scare people only one time. The second time they're gonna say kiss my ass.
Yeah, I was about to say kiss my red ass.
Yeah, that's basically my answer too. You know, you can kiss my Persian ass too. I don't give a fuck about that. Uh, that bullshit has destroyed the whole economy. Now, if they're gonna go with this for a second round, that's gonna crush completely the economy. Um, Millions of people who can't even afford paying their bills with this inflation and all that crap, you know. So that's crazy, you know.
I've been seeing this a lot. I've been seeing them folks out there, the mask monkeys, the monkey muzzles. They're running around, man. You know how it works, right? First they come out with the monkey muzzles, then they come out with the 15-minute city, then they come out. We saw it all for, and I'm like,
Yeah, and we've been talking about this for over 3 years now, Blaine. Uh, there are some people who get it, and some people who still live in Alice in Wonderland. And believe, oh, we're going back to 2019 or so. This is the new 2019. This is what we have to deal with.
look, I stopped hanging with that crap right about the point in time where where folks really started catching on and realizing, hey, no, dude, the mask is bullshit. It's 100% bullshit. And then we were all talking about it, and they started admitting that, yeah, the mask doesn't protect you from getting sick. It protects you from getting others sick. Duh. I could have told you that, because the way that a surgical mask works is that while a surgeon who has his fucking hands clean and is in gloves, for fuck's sake, is sitting inside there and cutting around and stitching and doing whatnot and removing cysts and shit like that, his mask is keeping him from breathing crap into your open wound.
Well, when that COVID started, I bought me a M40 gas mask, and I walked with it in Walmart. I said, okay, if this is a real virus, then you need to wear a real gas mask, right? So I walked with it into Walmart. They kicked me out. They said, oh, I'm scaring the people. I said, but my friend, look what you have on your window. It says walking in this store is mask required. It does not say what kind of mask. This is a mask. It's a mask too, you dumbass. So next time, right there, no M40 gas mask in this store. Just wear the Pampers face mask. So I don't know. Now I'm full of shit in my eyes.
No, yeah, they don't
And
want
that-
you to take.
And right there, I knew they are all full of shit, man. You know. Oh, they don't. They got a problem when you wear a real mask, but it's okay to put that stupid mask on that doesn't do shit for you. You know. I mean, look, for 3 years they've been wearing that Pampers, face Pampers. You know, people are so paranoid they even wear it while they are driving, you know, and there are no passengers in there. They are scared that the car gives them a virus or so. I don't know. So yeah, fear is working.
No, I think that it became a comfort situation, like the baby blankie or something like that. The Linus in his blanket or something. And so now instead of carrying around their little stuffed animal or carrying around their little this, that, or the other, it's their face mask because it keeps them close and safe.
I met this one dude playing. I met this one dude. He was wearing three at the same time. He said, I don't think one is safe. I'm like, oh my God. Just crazy,
I'm just saying, that's on that level of, dude, you are smoking way too much crack. 3 masks because you don't think that one is going to help. It just does not compute.
About the return of COVID-19
See,
talking about shows.
I love having an education. It's one of those beautiful things because that education, when you spend the time and actually pay attention when you're going through school and whatnot, and you learn from the freaking classes the things that are actually important, like biology, real freaking biology, for fuck's sake. Sorry. You learn this thing. You learn about this thing called the human immune system. It's amazing.
But I think this, Blaine, that's just my own opinion. I think this time, if they do lockdowns and if they say, you have to wear the mask or whatever, and you have to, this is not an option anymore. They might gonna push to force us to get the booster or vaccine or so. I don't know, because this is something the government is pushing now for 3 years. They have not let go, and I could imagine that they're going to force you to take it, or you lose your job, or you get arrested, or or something. I don't know. I really don't know. I could imagine that they're gonna force us to take this. And we are all dependent on our jobs and on our homes. So somehow they gotta do something. I could imagine that. Because remember, many people took it because of the. Oh, I took it. I had no other option. Because of my job, I had to take the vaccine or something.
I feel sorry for those people that are going to be like, you know what? In order to keep my job, jobs are hard enough to get as it is. I got to take the vax. So it's like, you know what? That's pretty simple.
But the job ain't no good when you are dead.
Yeah, no, you should put your foot down and say, wait, no. There's a situation here. What's more important, job security or your life? Can you do your job dead? No? Then what's more important is your life. So you got to stand to that.
Yeah. Because I remember a lot of people came on my channel and they were saying, yeah, I took it. I had no other choice. I took it because of my job or so. And then I don't know.
I've heard all the different excuses, man. I've heard I took it because my family member has cancer, or I took it because my job told me that I have to, or I took it because in order to work in the public sector right now and be essential personnel, I have to have it, or things like this. The whole spiel back and forth. And I was like, dude, I'm not. No, I'm sorry, but there is some places I have to draw a line, and my physical health is one of them.
Right.
I'm like, if I can't work because I didn't get a specific vaccine, then that means that you're discriminating against me based upon something that I see as a particular threat to my health for actual medical reasons. Versus, like, other folks they probably just say, oh, well, you've seen all the heart attacks and whatnot, and they could get it that way. But I'm saying, look, I'm allergic to bee stings. The chemical compound and the way it is delivered in the vaccine mimics bee venom. And my body will have a violent reaction to it.
I don't know. I mean, look, millions of people have taken the vaccine, and millions of people died like flies. I mean, God has given you a brain. You can create a vaccine in less than 6 months. And how the hell could you listen to the government? But a lot of people do. They think, oh yeah, whatever they say, it might be true. So even now, but with this 2.86 and the XBB 1.5, which is Aries, right? It just came out. They don't even have a cure for it, and they're telling you you're supposed to take a booster. For what? That's my question. For what? It didn't do shit in the first place.
Right? It didn't give anybody a better fighting chance against COVID. We saw that. We watched it happen. It's not like it's any kind of news. Like, let me put it this way. Unless you are a 2-year-old, in which case this doesn't matter. You watched it happen. Whether you're on the left or the right, you watched it happen. How can you fool yourself now? This is what we're saying. This is what people all around the world are saying. You watched it happen. How can you continue to fool yourself?
It's very simple, Blaine. It's very, very simple. If it was good for you, if it was good for your health, they would not force you to take it. It's very simple.
Right. No, they wouldn't force you to take it. There's that. Hey,
well,
look at it this way.
In a way, they did actually. They said, if you don't take it, you're not going to have a job. I mean, so that is kind of forcing something.
I know that people are not a big fan of like what was it? The Bourne Legend, or I like the Bourne. It was the one where Jeremy Renner played the feller instead of Matt Damon. He played another guy that was in the same program. I can't remember the name of the movie off the top of my head. It's one of the Bourne series. It's like the Bourne Legend, or like what was it? I don't remember. I think I'm onto something with the legend thing, but I don't know. Anyways, in the movie, he's sitting there and he said, they're saying you can be viral in and this and that, and he's like, well, why wasn't I included in this? And then and it turns out he was, but he didn't get the second treatment or something, and he just had to get the second treatment. sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't get the second treatment or something, and if like he got the second treatment or something, he'd be able to escape from the program or something. Anyways, um, it's basically like it's mental pre-programming. I know people don't really like that movie just because it wasn't Matt Damon, it wasn't the Bourne series, but it was kind of like a side-on sort of thing. But as a movie, it kind of had some very eerily similar points to what we're seeing nowadays.
What movie was that? What's the name of it?
I'm trying to remember. It's one of the Bourne, the Jason Bourne series. I just can't remember which one. It's the one where Jeremy Renner plays main character in the series, in that particular story of the series. Let's see, here's Bourne Identity, Bourne Ultimate, Bourne. I don't remember. I just don't remember, damn it.
Well, let me look this up. I just don't remember. Let me see if I find something.
Yeah, you're probably better off doing it than me. Shit.
So what are your thoughts, man? You think that you're gonna come up with another lockdown?
I think they're gonna try it. They're gonna come out with all that shit, and people are gonna be like, "No, no, fuck you."
I
And
mean, I am 100% positive that they could.
Here's what I got to say to it. I will not comply. Have a nice day.
Yeah, but for some people, when uh, their job is very important to them. So I'm not sure if everyone would do that, say that actually.
I can't see you
A lot of
smile.
people do for their job everything.
I'll put it that way. If I can't see you smile, I can't trust you.
Right.
Because a smile is genuine. You can always tell a person when they're smiling because they're being genuine. And that's the marker I use to be able to tell, hey, no, that's not fake. All right. How can I help you? Let me be your friend. You a righteous motherfucker.
Yeah, and since 2020, a lot of people have lost their businesses, and they came up with that ridiculous $1,400. What does $1,400 do to me? When I lost my entire income, how can I afford paying bills and taking care of my family? $1,400 ain't shit. But instead sending billions to Ukraine instead of fixing what they damaged in this country.
Yeah, exactly. It's unacceptable, man. Completely unacceptable.
And I agree with Joe. Yeah, there are a lot of people who are still angry. Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I've been saying, it's
Mhm.
not gonna fly. They're gonna try it, yes. Hell, they're already trying it in certain places. But did you see the reaction just recently to some of the bullshit? Like, people are pissed globally. They are mad.
Yeah,
You
I
like,
don't understand it. I mean, I don't understand, Blaine, you know. There are only a few people. I mean, what's so hard to get rid of them? You know, dude, we are millions of people, and I'm talking about the whole globe. You know, it's not just about one country. This is happening in every country right now.
because of the way that the system is set up, people don't want to walk away from the system. That's what it is. That they don't want to have the troublemakers that are making the system fuck us all, but they don't want
But if they don't do anything, it's going to get even worse.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue though. They don't want to walk away from the system, and by not walking away from the system, they inevitably screw themselves. And it's all about how do you do that. I don't know myself quite yet. I'm working on it.
Right. Yeah.
It's
I don't know.
a lot easier said than done.
I have a bad feeling. I have a really bad feeling that it's just gonna get worse, and they're going to continue with their bullshit. They're not gonna stop. You know, I made a design. You know, how the politicians are playing Monopoly, right? And on the bottom are the people who are holding that game. You know, and I put on the bottom. You know, the as long as we support their game, they're gonna continue playing,
Yeah,
and that's what it
that's
is.
a heck of a statement right there. There's a T-shirt. That's a T-shirt. It'd be pretty bad after that. That's a heck of a statement.
Yeah, I wish I didn't have a house to settle down there. It is a ball and chain. I don't need it all night long. Yeah, it's like drug, you know. Just all these material stuff we have, we are holding on it like it's like we can't without it or so. But if you can without it, yeah, you can walk away without it, and you can literally say kiss my ass, you know. But for a lot of people, this material stuff is very, very important. Looks like, you know, and that is the reason why they keep playing the game with them. I wish I had my own room. Our apartment is small as hell. Yeah, so is ours, Joe. You're not by yourself. You know, downgrading from a 3-4 bedroom house into a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment is a huge difference.
You know, good Lord. I swallowed a bug. Oh, that was nasty. Oh, Lord. Oh. Anyways, if it wasn't for, just trying to live my own life, work my own way,
Mm.
I wouldn't even have what I have, which isn't, this ain't much. But I do know this. I roll up and, just grab everything up that I want to and take off in my trailer if I wanted to. Of course, therein lies my issue. What am I going to run that truck on if I take off? Gas is expensive.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is what's going to happen pretty soon, or already happened. You know, people gonna have to move in with their parents, grandparents, uncle, brother, sister. You know, in order to be able to pay the uh, this this independency is fading away. There's no way that you, as a single person, can afford with this inflation to live by yourself. Yeah, I just left the 364 square feet house. Mm. Oh yeah, you did mention you moved, right?
What is that? Oh.
For taking care of your mom. I take care of mine till she passed. So she passed in 2009. Mm. Well, yeah, someone has to.
Yeah.
Well, they're gonna continue till we have pretty much nothing left. That is their goal. They keep buying all these homes. Now they're saying by 2035 you're not gonna have a car anymore, not a gas car, and these 15 minutes is gonna kick in. Yeah, we pretty much are fucked. That's it. Também Stefano. Later, yeah, neck braces suck. So anyway, I'm about to kill the taco. I hope you guys have a beautiful Friday. Thanks for having me, Lane. And as always, 300.
Wow. Thank you for coming. Hey, what did I miss? Excuse me, folks. I'm not all here today. I'm a bit lost. Gone to find myself. If I come back before I get back, keep me here. I think we're gonna start getting a rainstorm tonight. I might actually be able to go today. I done lost my brain. What the fuck all else did I talk about? I don't know, pretty much. Expenditures are, I'm ending up having to buy more, so I can keep up. Don't worry about the flies. That's just part of mountain living. It's part of being out of your house. Heck, that's part of being alive. You know that you're alive because the flies are still flying around and bothering the shit out of you. That's how you know it's summer. I'll put it that way. No matter where you are, the flies are out in the summer. No comment. That's not my business. No comment. Why? On God's green earth, why, dog? Do the list all thing. You're not supposed to be in here. Yeah, I need to load it in. Give me a sec. I will be right back. It looks like it's gonna be a hot one today. It rained this morning, and then it came down as the sunlight. All right, y'all. Well, glad I could entertain y'all for a little while. This has been Yeo Guardsman on. This has been the Freedom Forum. And, well, motherfuckers, I got shits to do. So, I'm out.